When the church met pure evil, one girl became the battleground between heaven and hell.
Dare to watch.
It began on an ordinary street in Georgetown. Quiet, peaceful, untouched by evil. But inside one home, a young girl named Regan started hearing whispers in the dark. Whispers that weren't her own. Her mother dismissed them as imagination, until the nights grew colder, and something unseen began to answer back. What was haunting Regan? A sickness of the mind, or something far darker waiting to be found? That night, Regan heard it again, a whisper calling her name from the dark corner of a room. It wasn't the wind. It wasn't a dream. Each night, the voice grew clearer, colder, more commanding. Her mother began to notice her daughter's sudden mood changes, the sleepless nights, the fear behind every glance. But no one could explain how the voice seemed to know things no one else could. As dawn broke, strange marks appeared on Regan's skin, bruises she couldn't explain. Her mother thought it was sleepwalking, maybe a bad dream. But every night, the unseen hands returned, stronger, colder. Objects began to move on their own, a chair sliding, a door creaking open. The house itself felt alive, watching, waiting. And Regan was no longer the same little girl who fell asleep in that bed. Dr. Klein had seen hundreds of strange cases, but never one like this. Regan's tests showed nothing, yet her voice, her eyes, her strength defied everything human. Chris stood helpless, watching her daughter fade behind something she couldn't understand. And for the first time, even the doctor, a man of science, began to fear what he couldn't explain. It began subtly, whispers in the night, fleeting shadows, and Regan staring at nothing with hollow eyes. Her mother noticed sudden changes in her laughter, her movements, even the way she spoke. Something unseen had entered the house, lingering in corners, watching, waiting. And though it started quietly, it was only the beginning, the first hints of a darkness no one could ignore. What would it take before they realized Regan was no longer just a child in need of care? It started with something small, until it wasn't. Regan, once frail and timid, suddenly displayed a strength no 12-year-old should possess. Chairs tipped over, doors slammed shut, and her own body seemed to move against her will. Her mother could barely believe her eyes, and the house itself felt alive, responding to the unseen force within her. What kind of power could a child wield? And who, or what, was controlling it? Then came the voice, harsh, guttural, and not her own. Regan spoke words she could never know, sentences laced with malice and ancient knowledge. Her small body betrayed no clue of the darkness speaking through her, yet every syllable chilled the room. Her mother and the doctors were powerless to stop it, and for the first time, they realized this was no ordinary illness. Something far older, far more sinister, had taken hold. The house began to move around them. Chairs tipped, books slid, and the crucifix itself seemed to tremble. Regan sat still, her small frame a vessel for something unseen, her eyes locked on the shadows. Her mother could only watch in terror as the world around them became unpredictable and dangerous. What kind of force could bend reality around a 12-year-old girl? And how far would it go before it was satisfied? It became undeniable. Regan was no longer herself. Her voice twisted, speaking words filled with anger and knowledge she could never have learned. Her body moved with a strength and precision that was unnatural. Even the house seemed to recoil at her presence. Every night, the darkness grew bolder, and those who loved her had to face a terrifying question. Had something taken over the child they thought they knew? The terror grew with every passing night. Regan's small frame held a power no one could explain. Objects moved, voices spoke through her, and her gaze could freeze a room. Her mother watched helplessly as the darkness deepened, and even the doctors were powerless to intervene. What had begun as whispers and shadows had now become a force that threatened to consume them all. And the worst was yet to come. Something far older and far more malevolent was fully awake. Then it happened. Regan rose above her bed, her body defying every law of nature. Her eyes, once a child's, now reflected something ancient and angry. Objects flew, shadows danced violently on the walls, and the air itself seemed heavy with menace. Those who witnessed it could not deny the impossible. Something fully unworldly had taken hold of her. And with that, the true horror began to reveal itself. For the first time, those around Regan tried to confront what was happening. Her mother pleaded, her doctors questioned, yet her eyes told a different story, a story of something ancient and merciless. The room itself seemed to resist their presence, objects moving of their own accord. Every attempt to reach her failed, and the terrifying realization set in. Regan was no longer just a child. She was a vessel, and the darkness would not let go willingly. Regan's face no longer resembled the child she once was. Her features twisted in ways that defied nature, eyes glowing with a malevolence no one could understand. The room seemed alive, objects moving as if guided by her presence. Her mother and the doctors could only watch in helpless horror. The force inside her was growing stronger, bolder, and far more sinister than they had ever imagined. And it wasn't finished yet. The demon inside Regan spoke for the first time, its voice twisting words she could never know. Her tiny body became a vessel for something ancient and cruel. Objects defied gravity, shadows danced wildly, and even the strongest hearts felt frozen in fear. The child they loved was no longer in control, and the question loomed terrifyingly clear. Could they save her, or had the darkness claimed her entirely? The room became a storm of violence. Objects flew, shadows twisted unnaturally, and Regan's small frame radiated a power no one could comprehend. Her eyes, dark and hollow, held the malice of something far older. Those who loved her could only watch, paralyzed by fear, as the very air seemed to pulse with the presence of the unthinkable. The darkness had fully awakened, and its grip on the child was absolute. Desperation led to prayer. A priest entered the room, Bible in hand, attempting to reach the child he once knew. Regan's eyes, dark and hollow, reflected something far older and crueler. The air grew heavy. Objects moved as if resisting the sacred words, and a sense of unease gripped everyone present. This was no ordinary illness. The true battle was only beginning, and the child at the center held secrets no one could yet imagine. The struggle had begun. The priest's prayers met resistance like nothing he had faced before. Regan's body became a battlefield, small yet terrifyingly powerful. Objects moved violently around her, shadows contorted, and the air itself seemed alive with menace. Every word spoken challenged the force inside her, and every moment revealed that this was a fight for the child's very soul. Could anyone survive what was coming next? The darkness fought back. Every prayer, every word of hope was met with resistance. Regan's small body convulsed unnaturally, her eyes blazing with something older and crueler than anyone could comprehend. Objects defied gravity, and the room itself seemed alive with malevolence. The priests realized the battle was far from over. The evil inside Regan was intelligent, relentless, and willing to do anything to hold its grip. After nights of chaos, a strange stillness fell over the room. Regan's eyes held a quiet intensity, as if calculating, waiting. Her small body seemed calm, but those who knew her could sense the tension, the expectation of something inevitable. The house itself seemed to hold its breath, and for the first time, everyone realized the final confrontation was near. What would happen next could change everything. At last, the moment had come. The room was still, the air heavy with expectation. Regan's eyes, dark and unyielding, met the gaze of those who had fought to save her. For a moment, silence reigned, the unseen force hovering, testing, lingering. And then, with courage, faith, and determination, the battle reached its climax. The child within Regan would either emerge or remain hidden forever. The answer lay in that quiet, charged room, where light and darkness faced off for the last time. If you survived that story and want to face even more chilling truths, don't look away. Hit subscribe to Only True Horror, where every shadow hides a secret and every tale is closer to reality than you dare imagine.